Hi. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick run through of the ingredients. Again, ingredient supplies. What we're going to be doing is taking paint, layering it inside cups, pouring it onto the canvas, swirling it all around, and then just seeing what it does. So the first thing you need obviously is a canvas. This is a 16 by 20 canvas. It's just a super simple canvas. It's primed, as is in most canvases that you get at the craft store. Next you will need cups to put all of your paints in. So one for each color of your paint, plus at least 2 cups extra to pour your layered paint in and then flip it. Cups to hold your canvas up. I ran out of cups because we used them all for Thanksgiving yesterday, so we're using these little bowls. Something to raise your canvas up. You need paint, and since this is an acrylic pour, you'll want acrylic paint. I get just the cheapest. I think this is from Walmart. These are from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and the little ones cost maybe like 79 cents a piece. So for the paint colors tonight, I always use white and black, or a white and a dark color of some kind. We have silver, we have red, we have dioxazine purple, we have vivid violet, and we have lavender, right? Yeah, lavender. So you'll need all those paint colors. The least amount of colors I've done before is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The most I've done is 7. So you'll need those colors, as many as you want. They have different looks. If you do 3, obviously it's going to be more larger chunks of color. If you do more colors, it's going to be more swirly and almost kind of marbly, I guess is the best way to put it. Am I using a pouring medium? Haha, this is where we're doing this the cheapo way, because not everybody has use for a giant tub of Floetrol. And so what we're using is school glue. We are using school glue and water to be our our pouring medium. And it is just a cheap way to make it work. And then you also need stir sticks, any kind of lubricant. This is just from the Dollar Tree, WD-40, basically that kind of thing. Again, we're going the cheaper way of doing this. You can actually go out and get like a bottle of silicone lubricant from the craft store, from the art store. They're incredibly expensive. This works just as good. And then the last thing that you need is a heat source of some kind. If you have one of these, they work just as well. It might just take you a little bit longer because obviously your flame isn't very big. But I have an embossing heat tool, or any kind of heat gun from crafting works perfectly. If you have to use a blow dryer, make sure that it is in the hottest setting that it can, at the very lowest blowing setting, so that way you're not pushing your paint around. A regular lighter works just fine too. A blowtorch, I've seen people use like a full-on blowtorch. Those work great. If you have a cooking blowtorch for like doing creme brulee and stuff like that, those look, they work great too. Oh, and you need water, room temperature water. So the first thing that we're gonna do is you will need your paint and you'll need your glue. And what you're gonna do is do a 1-to-1 ratio of paint and glue. And let me do this on a clear one so you guys can see what I mean. And I'm gonna start with red. Get my arm workout. There is no exact science to this. I'm actually gonna go grab paper towels too. And that's my favorite thing about it. So I have, I don't know, a squirt of paint in there. Depending on your size of canvas, you don't need a ton. Since I know I'm only creating 2 cups to flip, I don't, yeah, like a shot. Yeah, do like a half a shot worth. And you're gonna do roughly the same amount of glue. This glue is very old, so let's hope that it still good. Roughly the same amount of glue. Just right in there. You're gonna mix it up. It's gonna be kind of sticky, glue-like. So let's do some purple next. I'll do another clear one so you can see. So for these like larger solo cups, I'm pretty much just doing up to this first little lip here. Whoa. This one needs to be shaken. There we go. I'm super messy when I do art. This is an older thing of glue, so it'll take a little bit. All right, so you're gonna do this with all your colors, a 1-to-1 ratio of paint and glue. Yes, if you're not messy, are you really doing art? I agree. All right, so this is a really pretty dark purple. Again, I'm doing Dr. Lupo colors. If you have a color that you like more than another, make more paint in that color. And you would want to err on the side of more paint, less glue. So if you get to the point where you're like, I don't know if this is enough or not, err on the side of more paint, less glue. The glue does not affect the color, no, because the glue dries clear. Okay. So we did that dark purple. Let's do this vivid violet. So I'm on my 4th color out of 7. I have white, black, and silver left to do out of this. And I'm not gonna do as much black. I might do like just the smallest amount of black. Amelia, we are auctioning this off, or I guess not auctioning, we're raffling it off for a husband's charity stream that he's doing on the 22nd of December. So one of you guys, if you donate in the stream, I believe it's for every $10 you donate. So if you donate $100, you get 10 entries to win any of the things that he has. I want a lot of silver. Paint, equal parts, paint and glue. 2 7x14 canvases. Do I make double cups of each color? 7x14. No, because I mean, mine's 16x20. So you're basically doing 2 of these. Like, you just cut it in half and that's pretty much what you're doing. So if you do roughly the same amount of color, depending on how many colors you have. I'm not gonna do a ton of black, because black can eat up your colors very quickly. So literally that's all the black that I have going on in there. All right, so with white, it's very hard to see how much glue and how much paint you have, so I'm gonna focus on this. Is it important to choose very different colors? I like shades of blue and green and currently have sea green and teal. No, that's fine. For those of you that, so my colors are in a similar tonal range. If you look at a color wheel, you would have like red, blue, yellow, and then you'd have orange, green, and purple, because red and blue make purple, red and yellow make orange, yellow and blue make green. So mine are in a similar corner of the color wheel. So I have reds and purples. They're oh, what's it called when they're right next to each other? Analogous. There you go. So analogous colors are colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. They always do, yes, there we go, Amelia, thank you. And Wolf, thank you. So analogous colors always work really, really well. Colors in the same color family, so cool tones work really well. Warm tones together, red, orange, yellow work really well. Blue, green, purple work really well. If you're gonna do complementary colors, let's say like red and green, you're gonna wanna put something like a white or a silver or a black, something in between them, because then they could potentially meld together and make brown. So what we're gonna do next is you're gonna take your room temperature water. Bottled water is best. I don't have any bottled water, so I just got this out of my fridge when it's filtered, and it's just been sitting, just room temperature water. And you're gonna pour a little water at a time into your cup. So let me come a little closer so you can see how much water I poured in there. Not a whole ton. Do it. And this is what is gonna make it flow. The glue keeps the colors to themselves so they don't just mix into one giant brown mess when you put them in the cup, but the water gives them movement. So my favorite way of testing is to take your stir stick and lift it up. And if you can get it where it is a nice flowing line there, then that means it's good. If it's not pouring off of your stir stick, add a tiny bit more water. If it is basically colored water that you have at that point, add more paint over glue. So it's a nice viscosity is technically the term. Yeah, do about a tablespoon of water, Neb, to start with. That would be good. Now that that one's done, I'm gonna do one that has too little water. And I'll show you what that is like. Too little water. It doesn't flow off, it more gloops off. And that's that glue in there. So again, this is too little water. It just kind of gloops off. This is the part that takes the longest. And this is too much water. And how you can tell that I'm going over here because I'm trying to get closer, so hopefully this is helpful. With too much water, it starts to, it has droplets versus a stream, if that makes sense. All right, so this is with too much water, is it just starts to do droplets off of it. So too little water, it makes gloops. Is this the best way I can describe it? Is gloop, gloop, gloop. Too much water, it immediately breaks the viscosity of the stream into droplets. So there we go, and that has a nice long viscosity train going on there. If I fail this 100%, this is the step to blame. Yes, this is the step to blame if you fail. This is the hardest step. This is the only step that I feel like you could jack up. So next step is you're gonna wanna get your cups that you're gonna pour your layers into. So we're done with glue, we're done with water, we're done with paint. I'm gonna use 2 cups and fill them about halfway. And that'll be enough paint to fill up a 16 by 20 canvas. I know quite a few of you guys are doing multiple canvases, so I like to do 1 canvas at a time. So if I'm doing like 3 8 by 10s, I'll do 1 8 by 10, I'll re-pour a cup, another 8 by 10, re-pour the cup, another 8 by 10. So here's kind of where you want to think about this, is what colors out of the ones that you picked are your favorite? What colors are there just to kind of be accents? What colors do you want next to each other? It can be just completely random if you want to. I like to kind of semi-think about it. And I kind of want to do the husband fade in this order. So it'll be red, violet, lavender, and a dioxazine purple. What type of acrylic paint? The cheapest type that I can find. Why the cheap stuff? I just don't like spending a ton of money if I don't have to. I personally always start and end with a little bit of white. This is the part, especially when the first color that you pour is gonna be the color that is most likely gonna run off the edge. So if you don't want a lot of white, or a lot of your color to run off the edge, start with white. And since I'm using 2 cups, I'm on 1 canvas. I'm gonna pour both cups at the same time, but I am gonna do them in different orders. So there's a little bit of white. And then let's do some red on one. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna pour just a little bit. For my cups, my goal is to get kind of right to the bottom of this orange. So I just poured just a little bit in there. But I'm gonna go opposite direction on this side. So I'm gonna start with purple. And I'm gonna do about 2 to 3 layers. And then I'm gonna spritz in some WD-40. I did 3 layers in this one. I don't wanna tilt it too much. But I'm just gonna do a spritz of silicone. I did 2 layers in here, spritz of silicone. Some magenta, or I call this magenta. They're calling it violet. Side, black. To this side, just a tiny bit of black. Black can take over very easily. I'm gonna add some silver over here. Remember, after about maybe every 2 to 3 layers, you want to put in a little bit of silicone. Not a lot. If you have a WD-40 can, just do smallest spritz you can. Just dives through the layers. Yeah, mine looks like a gobstopper. You know when you have the gobstoppers and you cut them in half and they just have little circles? That's what mine looks like. And I don't want to waste any of my paint, so I'm just going to keep going after that. And just, it's better to have too much paint than not enough. The silicone will react with some heat that we have going on in a little bit, and it will create all these really cool cells. While I'm waiting, I'm just going to put, so I was just right below where I wanted to be. I'm going to put out my bowls that are going to hold my canvas. You can have your bowls or cups, hold them in between here, but it will raise it up. I like to have them hold on the edges if possible. I know myself. I'm gonna get some paper towels ready to go. You will also want to get your heat source ready to go. All right, so what you're gonna do next is you're gonna take your cup and flip it. It's gonna pour out the edges. That just happens. You're gonna flip it. I like to let it settle for maybe about 10 seconds or so. Simple enough. And then you're gonna lift your cups up after about 10 seconds. That just gives the paint the opportunity to drip down. This is scary. And then you're gonna pick your canvas up and just start to tilt it. This is where it gets messy. And your goal is to it's almost like making a pie dough, which we know that according to my pie rolling skills from a few nights ago are not the greatest, but you want to try to make, not boobs. Brown Eyed Beagle, thank you for 2 months. You want to try to make a uniform centerpiece before you start making your way to the edges. Make boobs, got it, yes. What happens if it pours off the sides like mine just did? Then you have less tilting than you need to do. One way to help you get things to the edge is if you just tap it, you can kind of guide your paint along the edge without having too much runoff. If you like a certain area, so I personally really like this area right here, I'm not going to want to stretch that too much then. So down here I'm close to the edge, so I'm just going to start kind of tapping along to get it to the edge a little easier. So I don't have to run all of this off the edge because I don't want to lose a ton of paint if I don't have to. So once I get it onto the edge here, I literally just run my finger across it and you have enough color. My goal of not ruining these bowls was not completed, so whatever. Okay, now it's time to focus on getting paint down here a little bit more. Yeah, like it's like a marble. I'm gonna just start tapping along to kind of help it out, because I don't need to get all of this, if it's so thick, to get to the edge. There we go. All right. So here is my piece so far. What areas do I not like? I'm not a huge fan of this big blob of red right here. So what I might do is, and that it's mainly light color, I want some of this dark color to come back. So I might tilt it up here a little bit and see if I can get some more of this dark to run back down into the light. You think the red's your favorite part? Okay. You like the red? Okay. In that case, I'm gonna come back here. Because I ran my finger over it when it was going vertical, I want to get rid of this purple spot right down here, that purple line. So if you see these little circles right here that are starting to form, that's the silicone. That's what the silicone is doing. And then I'm gonna tilt it this way for a little bit, because it's very long. I want to see if I can get more of this kind of stuff going on. And I think I'm happy with that. Wipe your hands off. I always take my fingers and just run underneath the lip here to get any of the extra drippies off. So your heat source, next we're gonna do is you are gonna very lightly go over your whole canvas. And you're just gonna skim it, and you're gonna see where you poured the silicone. They're gonna start to bubble up, and they're gonna start to do some changes. The heat source also pops air bubbles, just FYI. So yeah, it's making cells grow. You don't want to get too close with the lighter because you don't want to burn anything. You can see right here some cells. Yeah, the black faded out a little bit. The red's still in there. We've got a whole ton of purple right there. So what we're gonna do next is, while it's still wet, I have some glitter, and this is optional. Nicotine, thank you. So I'm going to get some silver glitter out. Again, this is optional. Glitter's never optional. I personally agree, but you can use a paintbrush. If you have a big thing of glitter, you can use a paintbrush and tap it in. But since mine's just a little pouch, I'm just gonna kind of shake it in. I'm just following this vein here. So I have this little vein right here that's pretty cool, and I'm gonna do a little glitter. I have this big vein, I have a vein there. I'm kind of thinking this is the bottom and this is the top. So if I had to hang this, I would hang it vertically, with this being the bottom and this being the top. A little science. When your brain looks at an image, it naturally wants the darker colors to be on the bottom because that seems weighted. Your brain right now, the top left corner, if I was standing this way and looking at it, is darker. So my brain, just looking at it, makes me want to turn it, or it makes it feel like it's gonna fall. This feels good. It's weighted across the whole entire bottom of it. This is the way that we will go. How long does it take to dry? Overnight. This is the way my brain's viewing it. I will need to move this to dry somewhere else overnight so my cats don't walk up here. What do you put on it once it's dry? That's the next thing. Is an optional, if you want it to be archival, an optional thing once it's completely dry, is not shiny at all, is to put on a fixative. And this is just a clear acrylic spray. And this is a matte, so I won't use this because I want it to be shiny. If you want your colors, because this paint does dry matte, if you want your colors to be like super shiny and glossy, get a high gloss spray. You don't have to put it on there though. It is optional. It makes it archival. It makes it shiny again. A Mod Podge would be perfect to go over this too. So while all of your canvases are still wet, I want you guys to take pictures of them of how you feel like they should be hanging. Tweet them at me at MrsDrLupo, or post them on Instagram and tag me in them at Lupo Photo. Awesome. These are so good. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm such a happy mama right now. Yay! Everybody give yourself a round of applause. I'm so proud of you. A reminder, one of these will be, or not one of these, this one will be up for grabs on husband's December 22nd stream. He is streaming for 24 hours, so from noon on Saturday to noon on Sunday, because we have less than $300,000 to go until we hit 1 million raised by the Dr. Lupo community for St. Jude for the year of 2018, and that is like, just blows my mind. But this will be put in the raffle for one of you guys to win, and I believe it's for every $10 you get an entry. So if you donate $50, you get 5 entries. If you donate $100, you get 10 entries, and we have a ton of cool stuff. We have a custom Dr. Lupo chair. You can have the same exact chair that husband has, because I decided that I didn't need it and I want to give it to you guys, so you guys get to have it. We'll have this. We have V-Bucks to give away. We have a whole slew of stuff. So we're still talking with a lot of our sponsors to see what we can do, but we are looking to get you guys some amazing things. So this is it. Keep showing them. Oh, we'll be here all night if I keep showing them. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna end stream here.